Havoc interview 2, scene B, shot 1, take 1. To be honest, like my whole interest in everything never really started in the automotive field. I just always liked the way things worked in general. My name's Zach. My title here at the shop is shop manager. As a kid, I used to tear old stuff apart, and my parents would find pieces of things from like an old VCR that never got thrown out and was just kind of there. I would tear it apart and leave it. Like, I never really put them back together, so that was the downside of things. But I just always liked the way things worked, and I guess my brain always was able to just look at something, and if I tinkered with it long enough, I usually could figure out how about it worked and how to put it back together or tear it apart or whatever. So pretty much anything to keep the flow of the shop going, making sure we have parts on hand for projects coming up, simple things like fluids, really anything just to keep everything moving smoothly is more or less my job here at the shop. You hear all the time people like, oh, you know, I gotta go to work today. Don't get me wrong, there's days I wake up and it's just not that I don't want to go to work, it's just you're like, you know, like, I feel like doing anything today. You just get like those days. But coming here, I don't know, we joke around, we bust each other's balls, stuff like that. It's, you know, just the atmosphere. It's not your run-of-the-mill job. You're in a factory line doing the same thing all day, every day. You're talking to different people, working on different cars, even if it's the same Viper, you know. We had 4 or 5 silver Gen 3 convertibles here at one time, but every build was a little different and the aspect's always a little different. And then you're dealing with different customers. Whatever Mike needs handled that day, if he's out dealing with customers, PR stuff, looking for more work, I help schedule cars come in and out, try to coordinate when stuff's leaving with the guys, when they're gonna wrap up on their work, kind of get an idea of when we're having cars leave so we can have cars fill those spots right away. Because any empty space is money lost in this market. Everything's always changing, and then just the atmosphere of the shop. It's an easy job to get up in the morning and come here. It's not like, oh, I dread the people I work with, or some days I'm sure I get on these guys' nerves. I'm standing here, George, I know George, I try not to watch over his shoulder because I know he's like, I know what I'm doing, you don't need to like, but for me it's like, oh, I want to know what he's doing. Every day we turn around, it's another motor build, juggling where heads are, when we're getting heads back. You know, our engine builder, he's got 2 motors. Which motors does he have? Where are we at? And I enjoy talking to the customers, and they start talking about other things. So it's like, yeah, they might have brought us this car, but then you're on the phone and it's just that like personable conversation. And they start talking about, oh, well, you know, I have this at home and blah, blah, blah. I was thinking about, well, we'll work on that too. Like it's sort of thing. So it's the stuff you find out about your customers, just having conversations. It's just like, oh, that's cool. We recently had a customer, he stopped in. He's like, you guys, I saw that you guys do like performance work and everything. Would you be willing to supercharge my car? And me and Mike just kind of looked at it. We're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we do anything. Yeah, we specialize in the Vipers, but at the end of the day, we're a performance shop. My parents had nice cars, but then there's 4 of us. So cars kind of got sold off and stuff like that, and they didn't have anything like flashy. Like Mom sold her Camaro SS and she had a Grand National, didn't have those when we were born, stuff like that. And then my dad always had motorcycles, so when I was able to drive, it's like, oh, you know, I want something cool. You know, my parents talk about all these cars they used to have, I want something cool. And then I got into the whole bike thing when I turned 18. So it kind of all stented from what my parents used to have, seeing pictures and stuff like that. Everybody has a dream Viper. It may not be my dream car, but if I had to pick one, I'd want to drive the car and not feel bad about, racking up miles on. So actually there's one in the collection. It's a 2017 Striker Purple. It's actually a GTC car, so it has like the TA Aero package. So that's like your entry-level track edition, if that's what you want to call it, car. So you get the aesthetics and some of the niceties of a car you could run track, but not have to worry about, the $10,000 Aero package that you driving down PA, going in and out of driveways and stuff like that. I got in a motorcycle accident, and my doctor was like, he's like, this is one of those like injuries where there's no surgery for it. You just kind of have to wait and get better. He's like, I know that's not what you want to hear. So I tore 3 ligaments in my shoulder that hold my collarbone in place. They call it a degloving injury to my knee. So the skin separated from the tendons and was kind of like free floating. So I couldn't bend my legs, stuff like that. And then I had like a compression fracture in my lower, like my last couple vertebrae in my spine. So it was one of those things where it was like, you're gonna be out of work for like a year, and Mike's like, well, if you're bored, like you can always come to the shop, hang out, whatever. So that's kind of how it started. I would hang out. Mike would do stuff with the collection and stuff like that, and I've obviously known Mike over the years, met Mike Moyer and stuff like that. And that's kind of how it started. And then when I was getting to the point where I could be cleared for work, Mike's like, so you just like want to come work for me?